I know the title sounds strange. I'll try to be concise with all of the context. I 24M have a sister 31F, and due to the age gap, we were never close. We grew up in the US, but after college, my sister moved to Europe. I haven't seen her much since she was 18, and I was 11, but because we weren't very close, we were fine with the occasional texting and every other year Christmas visits. Two very important pieces of context for this story. The first is that, even with the age gap, we look extremely alike. In the few times she's been home since I was older, 16 and 23, people have commented that we could be twins. The second is that I am 100% straight. I've only ever dated girls, and have never been interested or experimented with men in any way. I've been with the same girl since I was 21. Okay, so on to the main story. About a year ago, my sister met her fiancé, who I'll call Rob. I met Rob for the first time this Christmas. We quickly bonded over a shared hobby, RuneScape, LOL. We chatted a ton while he was here, and because it was Christmas, we were usually drinking. He seemed a little touchy, touching my arm, my back, laughing a lot, a few oddly timed hugs. I thought nothing of it, maybe that's just how Europeans are, I've never been. Anyway, they went back to Europe just after New Year's, and Rob and I have been casually chatting on WhatsApp, mostly about video games. Then one day, he stopped responding to my messages. A few days later, I asked my sister if he was okay. She said yes, but she needed to talk to me. We agreed to FaceTime the following night. To keep it short, here's what my sister told me. Rob found me extremely attractive. Apparently, because he's attracted to my sister, he also found me attractive, we look a lot alike, and is now questioning his sexuality. Like I was some sort of gay stepping stone. My sister said they are going to work things out, but she asked that I stay away from Rob. I figured I rarely see them and this was all bizarre, so I agreed. She also asked me to promise I'd never hook up with Rob. Which is insane, because not only am I straight, but the implication is that I'd hook up with my sister's fiancé unless I was told not to. I told her she was being ridiculous, and I'd never do that. We got into an argument because I wouldn't specifically agree not to fuck him. I asked why he wasn't being held accountable, it should be his job to leave me alone. He's the one who wants to hook up with me, I'm not attracted to him at all. I was told I wouldn't be invited to her wedding. She hung up on me after I told her Rob would probably cheat on her with someone in Europe if she wasn't even sure he wouldn't hook up with her own brother. It's been about a week since this happened and I DK what to do. We haven't talked since. Neither me or my sister has told my parents, but it will definitely hit a boiling point when wedding invitations go out. What the hell do I do? Should I apologize and promise I won't hook up with Rob to smooth things over? Also, just to be clear, I find nothing wrong with being gay, bi, or anything else. None of this post is coming from a place of me being upset for being accused of not being straight or something like that. Edit. I'll be speaking to my parents about it tonight, mostly because I'm worried my sister may try to frame this situation differently. I'll be showing them this post, as well as the message Rob sent me since I posted here. We'll update in a few days. Update. The post got a lot more attention than I was expecting, so here's what has happened in the last 2 days. I grew increasingly angry at my sister over what felt like accusations on her end during our conversation. I saw some comments about getting ahead of this, and talking to my parents ASAP, so that my sister couldn't get to them first and spin the story. Originally, I wasn't worried about this, but her behavior during our conversation was so erratic, that I couldn't put it past her. I live only 20 minutes from my parents, so went to their house for dinner that night to have the talk. I asked them to refrain from commenting, asking questions until I had said everything. I covered the basics. Rob and I had chatted, he stopped responding, so I talked to my sister. She blew up. I told them all the details, Rob was into me. Sister said they were gonna work things out. I was asked not to hook up with him, and I got angry. I was very clear to my parents about why I was upset. That I was uninvited from the wedding. I know I'm not perfect, so I also told them what I said to my sister before she hung up, which I do regret. When I finished what I had to say, my dad started laughing, which he is known to do when he's uncomfortable. My mom was absolutely horrified. They both admitted that they had noticed he was touchy-feely with me over Christmas. We talked for a while about the questions they had. Had Rob said anything to me before the phone call? No. Had I known Rob was gay by questioning? No. We had a whole discussion about why I wouldn't make the promise to her, and to my surprise, they were completely on my side. Now, here is where the shit hit the fan. As I mentioned in my last post, Rob had messaged me. He had said he was so sorry for causing all of this, for ruining my relationship with my sister, etc. He said that he was confused, but he does love my sister, and wants to move past this. I responded, much later that night, right before going to my parents, by saying that things may not recover from this, and he should have either broken up with my sister to figure himself out, or kept this to himself. My parents were beyond upset to hear about this, and that I wouldn't be going to the wedding. Even though I asked them not to, they called my sister immediately after I left their house. They wanted to know if she was okay, why she was so accusatory with me, and what was happening in regards to the wedding. Well, folks, it was a shit show. According to my dad, she started freaking out, yelling, sobbing, and accusing them of taking my side. My dad tried to explain that there are no sides here, they just wanted to remedy the situation. Their call lasted less than 5 minutes, with my sister going on a tirade about how this is her life and she won't let us ruin it. She claimed she saw my response to Rob, and that we were all trying to break them up. She then uninvited my parents, who are paying for the whole thing, from the wedding and blocked them on everything. We are all worried that she's having a legitimate mental breakdown. We have no way to contact her, and we have no family anywhere in Europe to help out. We have no idea how to help her. At this point, we are quite sure the wedding won't happen, as my parents certainly won't pay for it after all of this. We are worried she may hurt herself, but we know Rob is a good-natured guy and will hopefully take care of her. I'm at a total loss. My sister and I were never close, but I never imagined her relationship with everyone in our family would completely implode within 72 hours. Honestly, looking for advice on where to go from here. Rob hasn't blocked me on WhatsApp, but I am unsure if reaching out to him is a good idea. Update. Well, it's been a year since my post, so I figured it was time to give a quick update since this account still gets messages asking about it. This will be the final update. As a very quick recap, my sister's fiancé, Rob, had a crush on me. My sister, for some reason, blamed me for that and had a breakdown. When we last left off, my sister blew up at me and my parents, and no one had a way to contact her because we all live in the US and they were in Europe. About a week after that, my sister called my parents and begged them to pay for the wedding. She said that they would be welcome to come, but that I was still not invited. My parents did not accept this, as they felt the situation wasn't properly resolved. Cue another total, sobbing breakdown from my sister. We were all worried about her mental health, and so I went against my better judgment and called Rob to talk to him. He had basically told me that my sister was going back and forth between trying to kick Rob out, he owns the house they live in, by the way, and trying to convince him to get married. At one point, she claimed to be pregnant and threatened Rob with an abortion. As far as he was concerned, their relationship was over and he was trying to convince my sister to return to the US. This caused an additional breakdown with my sister because she was convinced she had ruined her relationship with her family and we'd never take her back. Eventually, she moved out of Rob's house and in with a friend of hers. This is where we stop hearing from Rob altogether. She lived with her friend briefly but didn't have a job, she was mainly supported by Rob, and her savings didn't last long. She finally called my mom in early March, intensely apologetic, and asked if she could come home. My parents paid for a plane ticket home and she basically arrived like 2 days before the world shut down. She's been speaking to a therapist via Zoom for about 9 months now, but she's still very depressed. I don't talk to her very much and am not sure if I will ever forgive her for her initial reaction to the situation. We are cordial when we get together as a family, we have a small bubble, but I won't ever look at her the same way ever again. Regardless of her mental health, she decided to go nuclear on me for something that her fiancé did wrong. Story 2. First, I've always been jealous of my sister. I work hard to keep fit and stuff, but she's just naturally slim, tall, blonde, and has E-cup boobs. She just sits around home and eats junk food and stays super pretty, and I have to go to the gym every day and eat healthy to look half as good as her. A bit under a year ago I got a boyfriend, and he's amazing. He's sweet, kind and smart, and also super fit and good looking, relevant because I can't imagine her seeing past that part. But the past 3 months or so she started getting more flirty with him. At first it was just jokes and fun, joining us and spending time with us. But lately it's been more. She almost never wears a bra when he's visiting now, and always wears shirts that are practically see-through. If she's wearing a loose top she'll find reasons to bend over in front of him. If she's wearing a skirt or shorts, she'll sit with her legs way open facing him so her panties are visible. Will find reasons to brush past him. If she's braless, she'll squeeze past him closer than she needs to so her boobs are against him, or she'll wear tiny shorts and rub past, on her tiptoes, so her butt brushes his crotch. Our mother denies all this. I tried talking to her a few times and she said, it's sister's house, she can dress how she wants, and, well, if he's looking at your sister that's his fault. She denies it too, of course, but our brother noticed, and I even overheard one of his friends teasing him the other day saying, I love it when BF's name visits because sister gets practically naked. My BF handles it great. He makes an effort to look away and insists he thinks I'm prettier, but I've noticed him get hard after she's done something a few times. Like last week, she needed help moving her old TV, and our mother said he should help. As soon as he arrived, my sister went into her room and changed into a loose tank top and didn't put a bra on, and said something about how she didn't want to get sweaty moving stuff even though he was obviously going to be doing all the work. She made every effort to stretch and bend over. I'm sure he must have seen her nipples when she first did it, although he was looking at the wall when I was in there, but he was hard when he finished. What to do, I trust him, but I hate her doing it. Update: hi, just thought I'd make an update post. Not long after my post, she wore a crochet sweater with no bra and her assets were clearly visible. We were in the kitchen and she came out to join us with no real reason but to show off. BF and I just started talking about people embarrassing themselves and he kissed me and kind of semi-made out, and he said loudly that I'm the only girl he'll ever want. The next morning we all talked together and just asked her why she does it. She tried to deny it and we talked again later and had a dandam about finding her a boyfriend. She did it a few times after but has mostly stopped. Story 3. I love my GF, but she's pissing me off sometimes. We're both in our early 20s. By the end of the summer, I invited her to a pool party and she said she can't go because she just did this thing to her hair and she can't wet her hair for about a week or so. I enjoy bowling, but she can never go with me because she'll ruin her nails. Last night we went out with our friends and wanted to go to the hills after just to see this panoramic city view, and she couldn't go because she was wearing heels. Then I couldn't go either because I had to drive her home. That night she got mad at me because I didn't tell her we'd go to the hills after date. The thing is, she always has to know the whole plan for going out or doing anything really and can't be spontaneous. The first time we had sex we had to talk for about 2 hours before, go through every little thing that would and could happen so we're prepared. I'm not that kind of person at all. I live in the moment, as cliche as it sounds, and finding deeper meaning to some things and perfectioning them makes me not want to them anymore. Girlfriend found the post and responded, I'm the high maintenance girlfriend. I made a Reddit account just so I can post this. My friend saw this post and it sounded familiar to her, so she sent me this. I read all the comments and I just wanted to say thank you. Just like majority of you said, I wouldn't have any problem climbing f***ing hills if he told me we'd be doing it after dinner. He was always the one who bragged to everyone how his GF always looks nice and dresses up and that he feels like the luckiest man in the world. Meanwhile he's here posting this shit, claiming I'm too high maintenance. I told him what sex meant to me since I was a virgin and how important that talk was to me. He wasn't too happy to talk about it, but he told me that he understands me and it's a big deal for him too. I can't believe that in reality this was what he was thinking the whole time about it, that I'm annoying. The thing that hurt me the most is him not telling me any of this. If he felt that way he should have told me and not complained to strangers about me. If I can give you any advice, it is to always communicate with your partner about anything that is bothering you, no matter how big or small the issue is. Update: high maintenance GF update. He got back from his trip and brought me a necklace saying, this is for you, I know you like nice stuff. Mind you, he never bought me anything if it wasn't a special occasion like a holiday, birthday, or anniversary. I didn't accept the gift. I told him he can keep it and decided to be petty and tell him he should have bought the full set to please his high maintenance GF. He became defensive right away, so I showed him his Reddit post and this guy said his friend posted it as a joke. I honestly didn't want to talk about anything anymore since I had time to think about a lot of stuff while he was away. I decided it wasn't worth communicating, and now he was the one begging me to talk to him. I just told him he doesn't have to unpack and that he can go live with his family, and I'll send his other stuff this week. He moved in with me, by the way, so it's my apartment. And I know a lot of you mentioned his sister. She called me later to check up on me and asked if we can still hang out and stay friends. I want to thank everyone for your support and nice messages. This wasn't an easy thing for me to do after 2 years, but I know I'll be alright. It means a lot to me. Thank you for joining me today. Don't forget to connect with each other in the comments below. Until next time, be kind, be curious, and I'll catch you in the next video. Corner Stories signing off.